Thank you for tuning in to the Education Firm. Today's topic is, what is parental involvement and why is it important? Let's delve into the conversation now. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Education Firm, the very first video on the platform. I want to thank you guys so much for engaging with the page. I've been very busy lately, so I'm getting back on my game with posting content and things of that sort. So thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for liking the page. Thank you to those that will subscribe to my YouTube page. So with all those things out of the way now, let's hop into it. So what is parental involvement and why is parental involvement important? So we're going to get into the why parental involvement is important a little bit later. So now let's just talk about what parental involvement is. So parental involvement is just simply the parent involving themselves in the learning process of their children, either at home or at school. Just that simple. Let's repeat that. So they're involving themselves in the learning process of their children, either at home or at school. So I know and I understand that parents are very busy. They got a lot going on. A lot of children that do attend school are from single parent homes. They don't have both of the parents in the home. So, parents juggling work and school for their children can be a little bit difficult. I understand that. So, but I have encountered where children would come to me when I was a substitute teacher, here in Fulton County, where children would come to me and they would say, well, my mom, or my dad sends me to school so they can get a break at home, and that's similar to how a parent would send a young child off to daycare, so they could get a break at home for a few hours and get some things done that they need to have done. Okay? So let's talk about some ways that a parent can get involved in their child's education. So a parent, number one, a parent can help with their child's cognition. All right, so what is cognition? So cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses, the five senses. Okay, so a parent can help with their child's cognition by reteaching what the child has already learned in the classroom. This can create a positive learning experience for both the child and the parent. All right. So a lot of times, children nowadays are learning a whole lot of stuff that's a little bit difficult than how it was when we were back in grade school in our day. So the learning has changed and it has kind of progressed into stuff that's a little bit more difficult. But the more the parent interacts with the teacher to find out, what is being taught, how it's being taught, you can, grab a hold of it and work with your child at home on how to, teach them what they learned in school, so the learning process will always be steady going. Okay? So parents can help with their child's homework. That is a way that parents can get involved. You can volunteer in the classroom. You can go to school events, sporting events, PTA meetings, things of that sort, to get involved. Know what's going on at your child's school at all times. You can send your teacher emails and follow up with how your child is doing in the classroom. And this is something that I just can't stress enough. I have to say that, the teacher has a hard job. It's not easy being a teacher in the classroom. So the teacher needs the help of the parents. You know, and if the teacher sends important paperwork home to be signed, they're going to send it home by way of the child. And so if the parent is not that in tune to the child and their schoolwork, they're not going to know what's going on in the classroom. So it is important that the parent takes initiative to, step in and find out what it is that your child is learning, what it is that I can do at home to help my child's learning process. And we're talking about parent involvement here. So, and this is one of my beliefs. I believe that teaching a child not only falls on the teacher in the classroom, but it also falls on the parent. The parent has to reiterate or reteach what the child is learning in school. So, for example, right? If your child is learning sight words in the classroom, for your child, and the teacher gives the child homework, right? To review certain sight words. So the parent can go over these sight words with the child at home, making sure they understand the spelling, the pronunciation, how to use it in a sentence, things of this sort. And this will build the child's confidence at home learning and in school learning. It would motivate them more to learn in the classroom. You can also read to your child and ask them questions about what has been read. This builds their comprehension. So when you do reading comprehension in the classroom, it's the same result. The teacher may ask the child to read a excerpt from a story. And then at the end of that excerpt, they may ask them a question like, can you tell me what happened in the story? So the child would have to be able to comprehend what it was that they have read. And so when the parent works with the child at home about reading certain material and then asking them questions about what it was they read, when it comes to the classroom, they won't have that difficulty with, fumbling over and understanding what they have read because they would have practiced it at home as well. So, all right, so we talked about what parental involvement is. We talked about ways that a parent can be involved. So now let's talk about the benefits of parental involvement. So there are some benefits that I have came up with that I believe are beneficial to parental involvement. So it increases the academic achievement of your child. They make better grades when the parent is involved. It cuts down on absences, from school as well. It ignites confidence in both the student and the parent. It motivates the student to want to learn more. Students gain higher test scores. Most of all, and the most important thing about parental involvement, it improves the behavior of the student in the classroom. In most cases, children are unruly in the classroom, and we know they are. We know how students are towards their teachers. Some students are good, some students are not so good. But in most cases, some students are unruly in the classroom. And this could be because their parents are not as involved as they should be. So this can go back to sending, the parents sending the child off to daycare so they can get a break. All right, so the overall school environment for the child, we're talking about benefits. The overall school environment for the child will be at its best. No parent shouldn't know who their child's principal is or who their teachers are. All right, and so those are the benefits of parental involvement. So let's talk about some benefits of parental involvement that benefit the parent. So for the parent, being involved in the child's education makes for the parent to be more sensitive to their needs, the physical needs, the intellectual needs, emotional needs of their children, because they're spending more time with them. Let's call it bonding. It's bonding. Not only are you reteaching your child, you're finding out more about your child, how they learn, and what it is they're learning. So this can help you be a better parent to your child as well. It builds confidence in your parental abilities. It motivates you to get involved more in your child's school. So those are some benefits of parental involvement towards the parent. So now let's get into the why parental involvement is important. All right, so we talked about what parental involvement is. We talked about the benefits of parental involvement as relates to the student. And then we also talked about parental involvement, the benefits as relates to the parent. So now let's talk about why parental involvement is important. So it extends the educational reach from the classroom into the home so that your child can gain the maximum learning experience. Children's minds are very open all the time. And so they're always learning something, whether it's by TV or it's by a video game, whether it's by conversation, whether it's by, listening to other people talk. They're learning how to act socially. Those things, right? So, it extends educational reach from the classroom into the home, so the child can gain the maximum learning experience. They will retain information better. They will perform better in the classroom. So schools need the parent involvement. Schools need the involvement of the parents. I believe that it is a team effort. No teacher should only just teach and then the student go home and then nothing is followed up at home, because this is similar to like dropping the ball. Have you ever wondered, me being me being an educator, I have wondered why this is. Students go home from school from learning all day, and then once they get home, the first thing they do is play video games. And they play video games for a certain number of hours. And this, erases everything that they have learned throughout the day. And the parent is not enforcing, once you come home, you do your homework. Some parents are not enforcing the once you come home, you do your homework thing. And then they send the students off to school and their homework is not done. So this is why parental involvement is important. It's a team effort. And not only are the teachers shaping the future leaders of our world, the parents also play a part in that as well. So, we've been in a pandemic for well over a year now. And so this pandemic has changed how education is. Not everyone is in the classroom. Some people are still doing the online learning at home. So when the world basically shut down last year, everyone had to learn something new and learn something quickly as relates to education. Not everyone was prepared for their child to be, online learning. So it kind of forced parents to get involved with their child's education. So, with this being said, it takes time to learn, how to maneuver with your child's education. Learn the ropes, figure out what it is that you need to do to help your child at home retain the information. Don't just send them to school to send them to school just so you could get a break. Send them to school every morning with a purpose to learn something new that they can take and apply to their lives and implement into the real world in which they live. This is what education is. Education is not just reading from a book. It's not just answering math problems. It's not just, learning history from the 1770s. It's not that. Education is learning something that you can apply to your life in the real world so that you can be able to function every single day. Because we learn something every single day. We learn something new every single day. So that concludes our conversation on parental involvement. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the Education Firm. My name is Kendall Peacock. So look forward to more content on the page. Hit like, share, comment, subscribe. Feel free to leave comments. I will be in the chat. I will respond to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Until next time.